Welcome to Social TV on this beautiful morning. My name is Virkulwana and I am representing all things CSI, CSR and CSV only for your favorite internet channel, Social TV. You can find all of our stories on www.social-tv.co.za. If you forget the dash, I'm so sorry, my friend. You will lose out. You will not get to the site. So don't forget the dash. It is very critical. As usual, we're coming to you live from the Bohemian suburb of Melville, in the heart of Johannesburg, where everything and anything can happen. It's a beautiful day. The sun is out and I am excited to start the show. But as usual, I'm going to start it off with the news. South African National Park SANParks has launched its annual Kudu Green School Initiative program for 2017 in the Golden Gate Highlands National Park. The Kudu Green School Initiative is a SANParks environmental education outreach program which was started in 2010 with only 7 schools. The program, which targets urban-going school children from disadvantaged backgrounds, has grown to 20 schools, and learners are encouraged to research and debate biodiversity conservation issues based on climate change related topics, as well as being exposed to conservation and climate related careers. According to SANParks head of corporate communications Janine Ratopoulos, the program aims to enhance climate science literacy by advocating lifestyle and behavioral changes that favor resource conservation and contribute to climate change mitigation. In other news, UNESCO said recently that it has decided to remove Ivory Coast's Camus National Park from its list of endangered World Heritage Sites after more than a decade of conservation efforts. The World Heritage Committee of the UN Scientific and Cultural Agency made the announcement during its annual meeting held this year in the southern Polish city of Krakow from the 2nd to the 12th of July. Populations of iconic species such as elephants and chimpanzees that were thought to have disappeared from the site are reproducing again, and the state of conservation of habitats is now very positive. UNESCO cited poaching, fires and overgrazing as causes for concern when it listed the park as endangered in 2003, adding that months of conflict in Ivory Coast and the world's largest cocoa producer had also threatened the site in the country's north. Lastly, in our news, in Lagos, Nigeria, more than 100,000 Nigerians are benefiting from a pioneering new solar electricity device powered by mobile phones, and it's called the Yellow Box. The Yellow Box is a solar electricity system that officially launched earlier this year in a world first, which allows families and business owners to harness the power of the sun cheaply and efficiently in a way we've never seen before. In homes, clinics, schools, and businesses across Nigeria, people are running fans, charging phones, and watching TVs and lighting rooms, all using an affordable, reliable, clean electricity. The Yellow Box is already powering the lives and the businesses of more than 100,000 Nigerians. And that concludes our news for the day.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastownmedia.co.za.
We all know that Africa's education crisis demands urgent attention of political leaders and their aid partners, and the target for the NDP plan needs to be met, where we find that more people have access to education. We also know that Africa, out of a lot of the continents in the world, has the most glaring education inequalities. All too often, children are born poor female or children who are born poor female or in a sort of a rural or conflict affected regions face extreme disadvantage in education. When all children have an equal chance to obtain quality education, learning drives economic growth, that also fuels innovation and creates jobs, and it equips countries and people with skills they need to escape from poverty and build shared prosperity. It also enables people to build more secure sort of livelihoods and communities and enjoy better health and participate in political processes that affect their lives. And for these reasons, every African government needs to redouble and be more aggressive in their efforts to ensure that all children by 2030 or even earlier have some sort of access to education. And I know that we usually always speak about education in the role and in conjunction with access. Do people have access to education? Do children have access to education? And what are the things that prohibit children from getting an education? Now, there's a lot of different things. We've spoken about it plenty of times on the show, whether it is from a distance perspective, kids are really just struggling to get to schools because they're too far. It just brings back to me this the last story that just happened now, when we found over 18 children died in a bus accident in Johannesburg or somewhere in Gauteng, and they were driving back to from a school back to their homes. And in my head, all that kept ringing was, why do they have to travel so far for a school? Why can't they have schools that are good in their own spaces? And I know that the government right now has rolled out, especially the Department of Basic Education, has rolled out a really massive plan to build high-class, top-notch schools in, disadvantaged areas, which I think is great. I have my own reservations about it, but that's a show for another day. Another issue that really gets children unable, or sort of prohibits them from getting an education, is obviously the food aspect. Are they eating nutritional foods? So poverty is at the core of it. A lot of great initiatives that are coming out. Of course, more can be done always. I know the Department of Education does have a really, I think, relatively good feeding scheme that they give to specific schools. A lot of different corporates have gotten involved. There was at the Rama launch not so long ago, and they're also sort of trying to make sure that kids have a nutritional breakfast with whole wheat bread, fruits, and the necessary minerals that they need in the morning, calcium and all that kind of stuff. I know Kellogg's also has an amazing initiative around that. So that's another issue that prohibits kids from going to school. Another one that prohibits kids from going to school is lack of good teachers, lack of good incentives to go to school, right? Because once you go to a school and you find that the teaching is not great, there are no textbooks, there's no real anything, there's nothing that you can work with that's going to motivate you to come back, is also a really big issue. And that's why today on the show I decided to sort of look at one of Africa's biggest education spaces, education events, Edu Week, and the kind of information and the kind of know-how that it's bringing to Africa right now. So Edu Week is a 2-day event that looks at the different technologies that are making an effort to change the quality of education. Now, I think it's very important that we also stress the quality of education, because as much as we could have all these different things prohibiting and all these different strategies trying to lessen, the chances of children not going to school or not being able to get there on time, or them not getting proper sanitation or not getting the right food, we also need to find out what is it that they're learning, what kind of materials are they using, where are we in the quality of education that we are bringing about, right? As much as we want that access to education, what kind of education are we actually giving? And we as a continent need to be more focused on sustainable development in education tools, education guidelines. Where's the world going? What kind of value does the kind of education that we are given in Africa, what is it that we are building on, and what kind of children are we trying to build and grow? And that's exactly what Edu Week is about. So Edu Week has established sort of a powerful reputation in the education industry. Key industry brands incorporate Edu Week in their marketing activities to maximize their business growth through face-to-face interaction with exclusive pipeline of qualified leads. Now, Edu Week directly responds to the needs and the expectations of its consumers and the industry, which is why This is an annual event at the forefront of advancing educational knowledge in Africa. Now, EduWeek is the largest and I think the most recognized African education live event in sub-Saharan Africa, with over 5,000 decision makers gathering to discover the unique purchasing opportunities from over 170 local and international companies selling products and services that will attribute to higher quality education. You've got private and public stakeholders that are going to be attending the conference. You've got exhibitors that are going to be there. You're going to have a number of school kids and children who are going to, you can sort of engage and sort of talk to them about what kind of issues they deal with within the classroom. You've got a number of people who are coming out with new technologies, young people who are coming out with new technologies to make learning a little bit easier. You're finding a lot of international companies. I know a lot of Singapore companies are going to be there. Companies from China, companies from the US, just from everywhere around the world, trying to really find a space where they can come in and really boost the education standard in South Africa. And I think that's what I love about EduWeek. These are kind of the benefits that you would get at EduWeek in terms of participation. You can align your brand, especially if it's education, with Africa's sort of largest education event, obviously. You can also present your products to the market face to face and receive immediate feedback. That's what I like. Remember, EduWeek registration, if you want to go to the event, it's going to be happening at Gallagher Estate. I think it's Hall 2, and it's completely free. All you need to do is register, and you can go and you can find out what you can do, how you can improve, especially if you're a teacher or want to be a teacher, have sort of the dream to teach or to lecture in any space. You really want to find yourself at EduWeek so you can keep up with what is currently going on in your industry. So you can definitely market yourself and market whatever it is that service you have face to face with industry leaders in a confined environment that is about what you do. And also, there's going to be a lot of media around and a lot of people who are going to be there to really to help you position yourself alongside the leading technologies, the leading innovations within education. Remember, South Africa's path to a sustainable future lies within I always speak about the NDP plan, because it's almost like this sort of short-term constitution in my head when I think about it. Like, it's got that kind of bravado for me. When I think of the NDP plan, I think of promises that have been made, things that have been promised to our people, to our country, that need to realize, and they can't realize without our participation. They can't realize without us being in the spaces that we need to be, so that we can be better, right? So that we can be better equipped, so that we don't come to a gunfight with knives, we come guns blazing. And I think it's very important that we also look at education not only as this sort of far-reached concept that only a specific number of people can really get into. We need to look at it as something that's tangible, something that Africa can own and have new innovation and technology and concepts around how to make it easier. We need to find more new creative ways to make sure that we're not just always sort of getting this information after like 10 years of where we need to be in education, but we're also contributing to the narrative, and we're saying, you know what, in Africa, this is how it works, and this is how we're going to get our NDP plan, And the NDP plan for the whole country is about making sure that multiple industries join forces and work together. But remember, I think every single thing, fundamentally, their roots are in education. Education is critical to escaping chronic poverty. It stimulates economic growth. I've spoken about this a million times, but I think we always need a reminder. Education can encourage people to reduce their impact on the environment. Education is a key mechanism promoting tolerance to diversity. Education plays a major role in containing diseases. If all mothers had a secondary education, there would be less deaths. If all disadvantaged dads would have had a secondary education. There would be less, child-headed homes. So education is very important. And it's very important that we also remember that as much as I said in the beginning of the show, access to education is one thing. Getting your child into the school is one thing. Getting them food is one thing, and getting them in the classroom, in the space. But motivating them to learn is about the quality of teacher and the quality of tools and the dignity in that classroom. And we need to get into that space where our youth and our children are able to really understand the significance of the education that they're getting, because it is such great content. It is such great tools that they're using. They're not feeling like they're left behind. They're being included. They feel like they're part of the world in this weird way. They're getting involved in all aspects of digital media. They're getting involved in all aspects of not digital media, but digital learning. I mean, they're getting involved with other spaces, other countries, other case studies, and they're able to use their minds in a different and very motivated way. And I think that's exactly what EduWeek's focus is, to really bring about the different industry leaders and to really teach our teachers about the kind of tools that they have at their disposal. Of course, at the heart of most things, as usual, it obviously has an economic and market related alignment. Obviously, people want teachers to buy, schools to buy different equipment. But I do think that also just having that knowledge and understanding where other countries are is pivotal to making sure that we produce the best teachers in the best classrooms, right? So there's going to be a lot of different things that you can learn around education, around latest developments. You're going to have case studies and trends by renowned experts and industry leaders, as well as local education professionals. EduWeek is going to be bringing you 5 edu theaters, each of which will host 2-day full programs dedicated to the themes that I'm just about to mention, which is technology. So they're going to be looking at technology, vocational and higher learning, which is important, basic education, early childhood development, and this is the new part, and which I'm so excited about, and I think it's so important, which is fitness and nutrition. So you can have those 5 key themes being highlighted the EduWeek: technology, vocational and higher education, basic education, early childhood development and centers, and then fitness and nutrition. And the Edu Theatre sessions have also been intricately designed to not only inspire your passion for education, if you do have a passion for education, but also to provide you with practical take-homes that you can apply in your own teaching environment. Remember, education is everywhere. If you're a mother, you're an educator. If you're a father, you're an educator. If you're a big sister, you're an educator. So it doesn't necessarily mean you need to be an actual teacher to go, but I do think that if you have little ones, a large number of little ones that you take care of, that you influence, whether you know it or you don't, it's a nice environment for you to see what could work and what couldn't work. I have so many nieces and nephews that ask me to help them with their homework, and I have to say sometimes that homework is hilariously hard, and I'm just sitting there like, what did I actually learn when I was in high school, when I was in primary? None of it is coming back to me. So if you find yourself in that space where you are sort of involuntary or voluntarily doing homework with your cousins and your nieces, and you like it and you enjoy it and you like tutoring, or you want to get into tutoring, for instance, I definitely think EduWeek is where you need to be. It's going to be happening again on the 12th and the 13th of July. You don't want to miss out. Gallagher is not too far. It's in the middle of, it's in Midrand actually, which is in the middle of Johannesburg and Pretoria. So people from Pretoria can come, people from Johannesburg can come. I'm hoping people from all over South Africa are coming. That's what they said, and it's really going to be a big event. It's going to be amazing, and I think now that they've added fitness and nutrition, you're finding that it's going to be a little bit more diverse, and diversity always makes you feel, you feel interested, and you feel like you are getting your your education from all aspects. And a few of the themes around early childhood development, as I said, will be sort of looking at building sound foundations and inquiring young minds. So there's going to be a keynote panel address. I'm just going to tell you a few of the keynote panel addresses. Maybe you will be interested to go and just listen. Which is, one is for educational revolution, which is using education as a platform to create global citizens who have the necessary skills to promote economic growth and sustainability within Africa. And the moderator is going to be Claire Moisa, which is an investigative journalist for Carte Blanche. And you can have a number of people from Pearson, from Lab Tech International, from a Carey School, looking at educational revolutions and revolutions within the digital space. You also have speakers talking about sort of addressing the importance of nutrition and physical education to improve the learning experience in the classroom. You're gonna have a number of different speakers, and that's what I love about these kind of conferences sometimes, is that you don't have to just be looking at the exhibitors the entire day, because they're going to be really cool. Last time I remember they were building fridges and building cars and showing sort of the engineering around that and showing the science and the technology around that, and it was so cool. It was so cool. And I was just thinking, if I was in high school or primary school and somebody said, we're going to EduWeek and we're going to go see how to build an airplane, it would have motivated me to sort of look into different fields. And I think that's what is also important, is that the kind of things that you're going to see are going to be really amazing. It's going to be amazing to sort of show your students, your small class, your nieces, your nephews, your children, the kind of opportunities that they have, and the kind of doors that will open if they really look at different in industries and careers. There's also concepts around rethinking competition at schools to facilitate inclusion and optimize learning, demonstrating respect for language, which I think is very important, exploring the importance of reading and writing in the mother tongue to improve functional literacy. Important things that are, again, as much as it is a global event, it's really about looking at Africa and what kind of solutions Africa needs. And I really like, I'm probably going to be there for demonstrating respect for languages. I think that's very important. Also understanding the role of parents to support in-school learning activities and the overall development of the learner. So many amazing speeches, so many amazing panel discussions, so many amazing keynote addresses. There's also an awards evening where we're going to be awarding great technologies, great teachers, and that kind of thing. Really a beautiful all-rounded event that's really focused on making sure that Africa reinvents itself when it comes to education, rethinks, aligns itself with the NDP goals, realigns itself with the overall quality that we find across, the globe. And it's very important that we always keep ourselves in check. And that's exactly what EduWeek is going to be doing. So if you want to get a little bit more information, you can go to our site, which is www.social-tv.co.za, or you can actually just go to www.eduweek.org, I think, or co.za, and you can register and find yourself there. It's a 2-day event. You can come at any time. It's going to be starting, I think, at 8 until like really late, like 5 o'clock. So you can spend the whole day there, and you can find out exactly what it is you can do, what role you can play. Or if you are in the space, go ahead and sell your ideas. Let your ideas be known all over the world. Make people aware of the kind of things that you're doing. If you're a teacher, if there's innovations that you're doing that are working, let's go and share. Let's go and make sure that your story is heard. EduWeek at Gallagher, 12th of July to the 13th of July. Social TV will be there. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you and just talking to all of you who do attend. Hopefully I'll get to meet a few people who have listened to the show. But anyway, that concludes my show for the day. It was great. I will definitely be back on air tomorrow, 9:30 to 10, as usual, only on The Social Show.
Live from 27 Boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.